to start.
Yes, but that does mean the Red is 1-0 up in this series, no doubt looking to take it 2-0 after the recent success of his teammate over in WCS America. But Lerlian, do the honors, introduce these two players.
I would love to, because in the bottom left spawn position, we've got the Red Zerg player that is from the same country as where I'm from. He's from Holland. He is, of course, on Team Liquid, and his name is Red. In the top right spawn position, we've got his opponent playing in blue. It's Bischu, who's currently teamless, I believe, is he not?
I am not sure. I don't think he is. He used to be on Dignitas, of course, quite a while ago. But now I did look this up a little while ago, and
he's
I think
teamless.
he is teamless at the moment.
Oh,
It's quite
okay.
surprising actually, because he's a really good player when he's on form. So hopefully we'll be seeing some of that today. Of course, Red is 1-0 up. This is a ZVP on Neoplanet S. Neoplanet S, what are your thoughts on this? This can be really, really fun. Or really bad.
Yeah, it could be really fun. Not a map that we usually see in Protoss vs Zerg. I go into this every time, but I love to veto this map, since it can be pretty hard to take a third base on this map at all as Protoss. So therefore, you might not want to let it get to a situation where you want to take a third, because the third base at the top of the map is really far away, and it's hard to defend your natural and your third at the same time. And the base in the bottom spawn, at the bottom location, is also very hard to defend because it's so far away from your natural, and it's also a difficult thing to defend. So therefore, I'm not thinking Bischu is going to play the most macro-oriented style ever. I think we might see him hit some crisp two-base timing.
Which would be really smart. The other cool thing about Neoplanet S, or potentially not cool thing about it, is due to the way that there's those two attack paths and the circular symmetry, you can sometimes get situations where both players will go out for a push and go opposite sides of the circle in the center. And that, of course, means that they cannot encounter each other, and you can get into base race situations very frequently, which would be fine for Bischu if he takes a mothership core with him, and he's got the option to mass recall. But that is a big if, and something that may not even run into an effect this game. For the moment, though, Red, he has got his natural base coming down. He's already got his spawning pool, and he's getting down his gas at the same time. So things going fairly standard for him. Meanwhile, Bischu, he's just happily teching up, getting up his cybernetics core, double gas, 4 probes in gas in total. But the Overlord coming in, getting a really nice scout out there. Red is fully aware of what his opponent's doing, and we'll even see the mothership core get started.
We see Bischu staying on one base for a very long time, even getting the mothership core before expanding. So that's a little bit different from what we usually see. No super early expansion, but an early mothership core. That's going to help his defense a little bit. And when is he going to make his first sentry out of the gate? There he goes. He's going to make the first sentry out of the gateway right now. Two workers in both gases. The mothership core being out nice and early, but no units out on the field just yet. And we'll have to keep an eye on what Red exactly is going to be doing. Is he gonna try and take an early third base, even though he has seen that his opponent's taking his natural quite slowly?
Well, he doesn't need to take it super early. That's the thing. With that 1 gate expansion timing, you need to get your third down at usually about the 6 to 8 minute mark. No sort of early 4-minute 20 like you would with a forge fast expansion. But as we've got from Bischu here, his Twilight Council coming down, this is quite an interesting strategy being utilized by him. And what Red needs to do is identify that.
He sees it.
Yeah, he does see it. That is really important for him. Now, I see that Twilight Council. I wouldn't be surprised to see a relatively quick lair timing out of him.
That could be one of the things we see. What is he going to use this for, though? He has enough money to drop a Dark Shrine. He also has enough money to drop the Blink. So what is it going to be? It is going to be the Blink. Wow, so it's going to be a pretty crisp 2-base Blink timing that Bischu is going to be hitting. This is so old school. It's been such a long time since I've seen 2-base Blink timings out of any Protoss. So 4 gateways out, actually only 3 gateways out on the field just yet, but we're probably going to go up to 5 or 6 when this timing does start to hit, depending on how much economy Bischu wants to build up behind this.
It's a really nice build. It is really solid, especially with the mothership core, because if you do get surrounded, you can always just get a mass recall out of there. But for the moment, Red, he's getting his rotor on. That's good. He's getting the additional gases, also great. We'll need to go up to lair relatively quickly because he's got to stay on 2 bases for a while in order to deal with this. If he tries to expand too fast before having a decent amount to defend, it would be really difficult for him. But there we go. Lair is on its way down. The Hallucinated Phoenix sees the Roach Warren, will come in and we'll see the lair timing as well. That straight away lets you know that there is no third base on its way. So that's great for Bischu, getting some good scouting. So a couple of Speedlings on their way up and through. Won't be able to punch through this wall off though. Some Stalkers there and the Sentry with the force field.
Yeah, the Sentry's got that lockdown. Stalkers being warped in right now. And Red is going to see the amount of Stalkers right now on the field and be like, huh, that's a lot of Stalkers for this early in the game. Something's weird. Something's up. He's getting his lair. Like you pointed out, he would probably get that pretty early. He's going to delay his third base. And what he basically needs is just a lot of Roaches and a lot of Lings to be able to deal with these Blink Stalkers. Nothing fancy, nothing super high-tech, just some Lings, a good amount of Zerglings with enough Roaches behind them to support. Don't go too heavy on the Roaches, because they will die to the Stalkers if you can blink micro them really well. And don't go too heavy on the Zerglings either. It's a really delicate mix that you have to go for to be able to deal with this.
I'd agree with you there. We've got Red taking his third hatchery as well, ready for this to expand out from. If as long as he holds this and keeps that third up, he'll be good. It's also a smart move him going for that third up there, because Bischu probably quite confident that if there was a third, Red would be taking this one. It's the one that you'd expect to see. So now coming in, doesn't see that. He's going to push straight in towards the natural, come up across a good number of units, and will not be able to go and force a cancel on Red's third to the north position. Blink is done. The robotic facility just getting started, and that with the Mothership Core means that you can come straight up in towards the main. The Zerglings, though, straight on it. A Time Warp being used just to try and stop these Zerglings from getting too much of an engagement. The Roaches are there for additional support. There's not a huge number of Stalkers, but the Time Warp really helping. You can blink micro down off the cliff edge and hopefully not lose too much. But Bischu, he's been forced back. Red really didn't take much of a loss there, but Bischu, all he's lost this game is 1 probe.
Yeah, Bischu's playing such a nice build here. That was only 3 gateways that he was pressuring with. And right now, he's going to be dropping a Robo. He's going to be... Wow, he's dropping everything at the same time. He wasn't macroing perfectly behind this at all. He's getting a Robo, 2 gateways, a Dark Shrine, a Forge. He's getting everything at the same time.
And if you can tech up and get it all, if you've got enough money to do it, you may as well, because really a lob was pinned on that push doing a lot, but it's not going to. We've got +1 missile attack on its way down here for Red. He's already got road speed. The third has been identified, though, by these Stalkers, and they are going to try and deny it, and all of Red's forces are a long way out of position. They're going to take quite a while to get there. The creep will help, but this third definitely going to go down, and there's enough energy for a mass recall as well, and that's probably going to get hit any second, and there we go.
Yep, the base does go down. That was a good move there. Very, very close.
Now, what do you do as Bischu here? Because you've just knocked out a third base. That's great. You've really put your Zerg opponent back on equal bases as you, obviously benefiting the Protoss player. But Red, he's got a big supply lead. He's also got +1 missile attack about to kick in. Got quite a sizable army force. You've got to sit back. You've got to defend this and make sure that you don't lose anything. And as long as that doesn't happen, with the Dark Shrine about to finish up, you can go for some nice little DT harassment as well, which may catch Red off guard. But this proxy pylon does get spotted. Really nice find there from the Zerg.
We see a Hallucinated Phoenix in the main base of Red, was able to see the Spire. So Bischu has an idea what Red is up to, so he will be expecting any kind of a muta switch. Actually, no, there's not going to be a muta switch. This is just going to be straight out Corruptors. There's way too many Roaches out on the field. There's a +2 Zerg missile attacks on the way, so I don't know what I was thinking, but that's definitely not going to be a muta switch here. Nice snipes a sentry there, pulls back, and Bischu's third base is going to be delayed here. These Roaches will be able to deny that, will be able to kill the probe.
Now, down at Red's new third base, we've got some DTs coming in, and this is exactly what I was saying earlier. A couple of DTs can really ruin your day. No cancel can go down because it's finished, and the first observer is only just morphing at the moment, and it's not even particularly close. It's back at the natural base. That means the third for Red is going to fall once more. DTs are also at the natural. They will get cleaned up, but not before they kill a fair few drones. Bischu in total getting 15 worker kills this game. Really nice for him, and Red not looking in the most comfortable position.
No, he is definitely not feeling good right now. Bischu is building up a very powerful two-base army. He's going to have Colossi at his disposal. Will have some upgrades research for them as well. The DT is now finally going to get taken out. Almost took an extractor with him to the grave. And Red, he's just switching his third base constantly. Does his third base on the left side get taken out? Okay, I'll expand to the third base on the right side. Oh, my third base on the right side gets taken out. Guess I'll go back to the left one. Red trying to find angles where he can keep that third base alive, and this time he's going to try for the top left. And Bischu is expanding to the bottom right. Both players like mixing it up a little bit.
Well, why not? If you're in this kind of quite late mid situation, then you've got to make sure that you do get that third. Both players desperately need them down. Red more so, and I'm surprised Red isn't going to risk getting a quick fourth. To be fair, double expand, you've lost your third twice. You need to make sure that you stay ahead, because if you don't, you get on equal bases and there's big problems. But for the moment, we've got a couple of roaches coming straight towards the natural. This could be really good. There is a Colossus on its way there. The Zeta completing the wall off. The cannon is only just completing, but the roaches will be able to snipe that off quickly. Bischu going for the counter-attack, though, because there's only a handful of roaches here. Not something that's disastrous, especially when you do have some units there ready to warp in. But this push coming towards the natural base could do quite a lot, Lurlian.
Yeah, this is the scary thing. The Corruptors have popped out for Red pretty much just in time. There's two Colossi in this army composition. They do have Thermal Lens. In the meantime, Roaches in the main base still dealing damage. Photon Overcharge has gone down, and the Roaches will be cleaned up. 11 workers killed by Red in this game, but 20 workers killed by his opponent. Bischu is actually not going to commit to this attack. He saw the amount of Corruptors, and he's like, okay, see ya guys, I'm out of here. I'm going back to my third base and make some extra anti-air, finish up my +2, get some Immortals to deal with the heavy Roach style that Red is playing. And Red, even though his Roach Corruptor composition is good in the mid game, good for right now, he needs to start thinking about a follow-up. What is he going to do after this? Is he going to go for a lair? Is it going to be Infestors? Is it going to be Ultras? He needs to start thinking about a follow-up, because this Protoss army is approaching late game rapidly.
It is, and as that Colossi count starts climbing higher, you become very reliant on those Corruptors in order to snipe them off. And if they don't manage to do that, then actually it's going to be a really tough spot. There is a DT in the natural base as well, and that DT finally gets cleaned up to get a couple more kills. In terms of the worker count, it's 57 drones to 60 probes, but the probe count drastically falling as the Roaches do manage to sneak in once more. Going to come straight up into the main base, get a quick little lurk, but Zealots warping in, making sure that they do try and shut that down. A couple more probes will die. But it's pretty tough as this situation, because it's back and forth. They're both taking losses. They're both going for these little counter pushes. But the big thing is, Lurlian, they're both on 3 bases, and that favors a Protoss player.
Wow, so many probes went down there. Red microing that perfectly. I was so impressed by that. 28 workers killed by now by the Liquid player, doing that very nicely. Those Roaches two-shotting the probes because they have +2 attack. That was so nicely. Those 2 Roaches alone killed another 10 workers. And Bischu needs to realize that a Zealot on hold position isn't going to do much to stop a Roach run-by from happening. Of course, yes, it stops any kind of Zergling run-by, but here come the Roaches again. They kill that Zealot pretty much instantly and then go into the natural and the main base to kill more workers. But this time the army of Bischu was in position.
And of course, the big thing about this is with this constant aggression from Red, he's actually stopping Bischu from being able to move across too comfortably because he's got to stay back to defend. And Red, he's really piling on the pressure now. Lots of Roaches on their way forward. He's getting +1 carapace as well. The upgrades are tied at 2-0 on both sides. The Corruptors really doing a nice job of scaring away the Colossi as best as possible. But Red, 14 more Roaches on the way. He's really committing heavily to this aggression because he's still on 3 bases. And that means that economically, he's a little bit behind that of Bischu. And Bischu, once he gets actually across that map, I think Red's going to have a really tough time holding off that army.
He will have a very difficult time. He really needs a hive. He needs an infestation pit. Red needs a late game follow-up. Bischu, on the other hand, he's investing in the late game. He's getting +3 attack. He's getting a Templar Archive. He will have a Storm. He will have Archons to mix in with his army. Archons, of course, really good against a Roach composition. And Roaches keep on dying.
Lurlian, look at the top of the map. We've got a big engagement coming down here. Lots of Roaches. The Corruptors trying to go in straight at those Colossi, but they do manage to get away, surviving with just a few health. That's a really big thing for Bischu, because the more Colossi you have up, you get that critical mass where you can just start shredding with the splash damage through all of the Roaches very quickly. This third for Red, suddenly looking rather vulnerable.
Yeah, the third looking super vulnerable. The fourth base that he's trying to take is almost certainly going to be forced to cancel here. Red needs to make a last stand. He's not investing in upgrades. He's not investing in the late game. He needs to engage this Protoss army. Starts the engagement off well by picking up one of the Colossi. Gets the second Colossus too, but there may just be too many Stalkers on the ground. The Blink play is going down right now. The Immortal in the back has 9 kills with +3 upgrades. Blink goes down. Red is forced to retreat, and Bischu is looking poised to tie this series up. He might be able to go in to cancel that fourth base, or he could go straight for the natural. It doesn't even matter. Red knows it's over. GG gets called, and Bischu ties the series up 1-1.